The almighty collection. At some point in every game publisher's life, a collection of games from the depths of the company's backlog will emerge from the crusty embrace of old age. Some of those collections are good, some are dreadful, and some are great, the last of which the Capcom Fighting Collection falls under. Featuring 10 games of yore, most notably the Darkstalkers series, Capcom has gone back and added some nice and very welcome quality of life features for the modern gamer, such as multiplayer with rollback netcode, training modes, choosing the game's release region, and more. Capcom is of course no stranger to collections. Besides their older console collection releases, such as their Capcom Classics collection on the PS2, I found their modern releases to be ported somewhat decent, like the Arcade Stadium and the Mega Man collections. See, a collection of games might sound cool, but all it takes is added input latency and/or incorrect graphical representation to make that version one of the worst ways to play that game. See Bandai Namco's latest Pac-Man release for reference. So going into this collection, I was a bit skeptical. But in the end, I came out pleasantly surprised. Find out why in the XboxEra's review of Capcom Fighting Collection. As I mentioned earlier, the Capcom Fighting Collection features 10 games, 5 of which derive from Darkstalkers, 3 Street Fighter related titles, and 2 one-off games called Cyberbots and Red Earth. Although being a very Darkstalkers focused release, the addition of the 2 aforementioned one-offs I welcome with open arms, as they've never gotten a modern day equivalent release. So yes, I'm going further back than the PS2, which at least had the 2005 Darkstalkers collection. More ports are always welcome, even if they do lack a localization, such as the Vampire Hunter 2 and Vampire Savior 2 titles in this collection. Oh, and Street Fighter is here too. Puzzle Fighter, Gem Fighter, and Hyper Street Fighter 2. Forgive the sarcasm, but it's nice to see if Capcom acknowledge their other fighters for once. Each game is presented in a well-designed main menu, with its own funky music of course. The menu has separate offline play from online, it has the art music gallery, and your in-game challenges. You'll have no problem navigating through this, and it's easy to jump from game to game and switch the game's region if you so desire. Although there is a small annoyance with this feature caused by 2 of the games, but it's ultimately not really a big deal. There are customizable controls with 2 slots if you desire another configuration, plus turbo options and handicap mode, although I'm not too sure how much that changes the games. Quick saving is an option for all games, but there's only 1 global slot, which of course isn't the best, but you can run through these games fairly quickly, so it's not the end of the world. Each title has a training mode to help you practice your moves, and you can choose whether you'd like to start as player 1 or player 2. A friend can hop in at any time and play against you just by pressing a button on another controller. It really is seamless, and the best part is I noticed no input latency, which of course would be a nail in the coffin for a fighting game. Another new feature is online play for all the games. Both casual and ranked matchmaking modes are available, and besides Puzzle Fighter, all of them feature rollback netcode. Explaining what that is goes beyond the scope of this review, but know that you'll be glad to see it, especially as the game also allows for cross-region multiplayer. And in my opinion, this feature is pretty necessary for fighters because of how small the player pools tend to be past the launch week. If that does come to pass, know that local play still works really well. Besides being a darn good collection, it all comes down to whether or not you're interested in the games. For fans of Darkstalkers and Capcom's fighters in general, the improvements and first-time ports are worth it. Plus the museum has some nice goodies like concept art and design documents. These games are still visual treats too, with lovely sprite work and animations. And while sure I don't think this will net a ton of newcomers into the genre and Darkstalkers, ports for today's hardware with good improvements are always welcome.